Welcome to Ball Talk Episode 3. My name is Rian Bailey and today I'm joined by Fermanagh senior footballer Sean Quigley. This video is sponsored by Adapt Athletic Performance and Therapy, and you'll see their logo in the bottom right corner of your screen along with their contact details. There's a link to their Instagram in the description. Hope you enjoyed the video and subscribe for more content.
We'll start off. We'll go back about 10 years with your club. Is it Roslea Shamrocks?
Roslea Shamrocks, yeah. Jesus, 10 years. God,
Yeah.
I'm feeling old already, and we're only 2 minutes into this podcast.
I was looking at it there. It was your first senior championship win since '86. Is that right?
84. Oh, 86. No, you're right. 86, yeah.
And you would have been what, 17, 18 that time?
Yeah, I was 17. I still would have been in school in St Michael's. Yeah, that was our first championship in 24 years. We had lost the previous year. Derek Onley beat us quite well actually in the previous year's championship final. So I'd say, yeah, I was 17, just turned 17, yeah.
And describe that, like, you'd hear it, it might happen every year. There'll be some county that a team comes up and they haven't won a championship in 20 years, or they've never been in a senior championship final before and they win. Like, what was that like for your club to come and win that championship?
Well, I suppose for Roslea, we had myself growing up, would have been used to being Roslea being a middle Division 2 team, and Fermanagh would have always had good tradition when it comes to the championship, but just hadn't featured over the last 20 years. But we would have had 7 or 8 really, really good footballers that would have got on any team at Fermanagh and would have been county standard footballers, but maybe for, I don't know what about it, the lifestyle of some of the players mightn't have suited winning championships.
Right, okay.
We got promoted in 2008. I wasn't playing that year. Came in 2009. Came into the senior panel in 2009. We were promoted from Division 2 and we got to the county final that year, which was a big surprise for a lot. Probably a bigger surprise for a lot of Roslea people and the players that were involved, because we hadn't been used to winning championship matches. We hadn't actually won, up until 2009, we hadn't won a championship game in 13 years.
Right, okay.
So we kind of, when we got into that taste, we got a taste of a county final. We really bonded a team together. We brought a few new faces, like the likes of myself. A few other lads came in from the minor team, county minors, and I think with the players that we had, and plus we got a really good management team in 2008, 2009 with Peter McGinnity, a Roslea legend, came back and really just put his foot down with a lot of players.
Okay.
More or less, there's the door. If you want to go, but he's going to play with the boys that want to be here. And to be fair to a lot of the lads, they put their shoulder to the wheel and probably pushed on for what was probably one of the most successful eras in the club of Roslea. We went on and won 4 championships and lost 3. But as a 17-year-old coming into a team, at that stage, I was coming into a team that weren't used to winning, and I came onto a team that suddenly started to win.
Yeah.
So there was a big difference there between me and some of the senior players. Senior players were used to getting beat in championship games, whereas I wasn't, along with other lads. And I think the youth of us that came in and, as I said, not used to getting beat was a big plus to them lads, and really probably give them the kick up the arse really that they needed to push on,
And then, like, as you're saying there, that mentality you had coming in as youngsters and not used to losing, did the management team kind of not structure the team around you, but did they kind of use that to the advantage, like with the older players, kind of like, these guys are used to winning, no, you've got to start winning now, because they're not gonna, you're not gonna learn to lose in that sort of way?
Possibly, yeah, but the management team that came in, they really just stripped it back down to the bare bones. And we had the likes of James Sherry, Peter Sherry, Sean Quigley that was thereabouts, coming and going, maybe a bit Conor Quigley, other lads, really, really, really good footballers, but for whatever reason or other, whether it was the management teams that were lackadaisy before it just didn't work out. But I think we got maybe three or four really, really good players coming through from the minor team. Excuse me, from the minor team, which we just didn't have before. 3 or 4 players that really pushed it on a wee bit. And with the experience of the team that was already there, I think we made a really, really strong team. But it's hard to tell why Roslea weren't successful in them number of years before that, because we always had good players. We always had really good players. But it was just whether it was getting them all on the pitch at the one time and singing from the same hymn sheet, really. And to be fair to Peter McGinnity, he done that. He brought us back to basics. There was nothing fancy about it.
So that was 2010, and since then you've been pretty successful. Is it 4 championships since that? We won again in 11. We didn't feature in 12. We won again in 13. Won again in 14. We lost in 15, and we didn't feature there for a few years, and then we got beat again last year. So if it hadn't been for Derek Onley Harps coming so strong, we probably could have had 7 or 8 championships, and there's probably no doubt about it that we would have won that. They're so strong, you know. They're on 5 in a row now, aren't they?
They're going on to 6 in a row now.
Yeah.
Fortunately for them, but unfortunately for everyone else, we're just playing a bit of catch up at the minute.
Yeah.
But, we're going for 6. To be fair to them, they've really stepped it up now in terms of club football in Fermanagh.
And then just moving on, the following year, then 2011, you were still in school when you got called into that Fermanagh senior panel, were you?
I was, yeah. In 2011, I got called into the Fermanagh panel just shortly after the 2010 final.
Okay.
I was still in St Michael's. We were playing a McCrory Cup. We had a strong enough team, so I was kind of let go after the McKenna Cup to concentrate on the school football with the thing to come back in after the school football was over. So we were unlucky enough in the McCrory Cup that year. I think St Pat's Dungannon beat us by 2 or 3 points in the semi-final. We had some quality footballers on that team, all boys that really, most of them went on to play county football. Likes of Aidan Breen, Cian Connors, Eddie Courtney, Richie Donnelly from Trillick, Rory Brennan. We had a really good team, and we were unfortunate enough not to push on in that McCrory Cup.
Fast forward then 3-4 years, it's obviously going to take time to rebuild. With bringing in the likes of yourself that's still in school, you know, the likes of them lads need them 2 or 3 years to get used to playing inter-county football. 2015 was a pretty big year for Fermanagh. He had the 2 wins against Antrim, and then he beat Roscommon and Westmeath, and then there was the trip up to Croke Park as well. What was the reaction in the team when you drew Dublin? Was it kind of like, oh shit, we've drawn the Dubs, or was it like there's a big chance here to go out and play in Croke Park?
It's hard to know, really. I can't really remember, but I can remember thinking, after beating Westmeath, that everyone was in such a high. They probably didn't realise what they were getting themselves into.
Yeah.
But, come here. I think it was every time you get the chance to play Dublin, you have to look forward to it. There wasn't a thing of saying, oh, for fuck's sake, we're going to go up here and get humiliated. Like,
yeah.
As a footballer from the likes of a county like Fermanagh, them opportunities don't come along too often. So I think the players they really just enjoyed the experience of it, the build up to the game. It wasn't a fair thing of going up and being shown up after having such a good year, but I think we look forward to it. I personally myself, I couldn't wait. Because it's a gold cliche you're saying as a youngster. You're always saying you want to play in Croke Park and in a big game, and we got the opportunity to do that. And from here, I'll remember it for as long as I'm alive, and I'm sure a lot of other Fermanagh people will too.
Yeah,
but it was a great opportunity.
And then, so there was that game. That was for yourself. That was a big year. You were a second top scorer in the championship, top scorer across all 4 divisions in the league. and then you kicked 1-8 today against Dublin. And there's a few people asking the questions about that goal. And so is it a case of Cluxton's coming out with the ball? Are you pushing him to just set him back a few steps, or just are you actually aiming to send him over the line?
You know, I get, come here, to be fair, for all my years of playing football, I think that'll be just my claim to fame forever. But, you know, I get the feeling, come here, if it had been in the middle of the field, I'd have hit him a dunt anyway, but people nearly expect you because, like, I don't know Stephen Cluxton personally, probably a nice fella, but, you know, it just, people nearly expected me to move out of his road and roll out a red carpet for him and say, Jesus, sorry, Stephen, I'm in your way here. God, I'm awful sorry about that. Look at me coming up from Fermanagh and getting in your road. So, it might, so fuck him, really. That's just right. But, come here, it was just one of those things, that an instant reaction, you know. It might happen 100 times in a match. The referee really and truly should have blew the whistle. It was a free out. But, you know, was I going to say to the referee, oh, Jesus, ref, nah, that's no, to give him a free, give poor Stephen a free. You know, he's from Dublin, I'm from Fermanagh, he deserves the free.
But you were straight up to the umpires, though, as well.
Because, you know, as soon as it happened, whatever way I looked, I seen the umpire in the left-hand post, and he looked across the goal line and signalled towards the other umpire. So I said that these boys are dodgy enough here, so I'm going to have a word with them and see what the crack is. Because I knew by the two of them, there was that much noise and commotion going on, they completely shit themselves, really, and they didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't going to go in and say, oh, don't put up that flag, it's no goal. Like, I knew by them, I knew they were flustered looking, so it's a pity for them, really, because it was a bad mistake by the referee, and the fact that they were there and they had a big part to play in it, it was a pity for them, but sure, you just have to take it with comes, you know.
Yeah. And then, so you get nominated for the Ulster, and then you would have gone up to the do itself then.
Yeah, good night out. You know, I wasn't going up. I knew I wasn't going to get an Ulster, which was probably a bit for myself. I didn't expect to get one, but I probably wasn't that far away. You know, only there was some really, really, really top class footballers there.
Yeah.
I'd like to think I was maybe 7th or 8th on the list of forwards. You know, no, it was a good night out. Myself, my girlfriend, father, and sister went up, and you know, it's nice to be associated with some of the best footballers in Ireland. It was a great night out. That's, you know, really, and that's all it was. It was a night out, couple of beers, night out in Dublin, and just enjoying myself. Really, it wasn't that I was going up and, you know, crying about getting an All-Star nomination and being so proud of myself and taking pictures all around Dublin. It was just a night out, really. That's about it. There was a bit of a free bar, and
can't go wrong,
you mingle in with a few of the other lads, and you just take it as it comes, really. Like, at that stage, you know, you're not going to get an All-Star, so no, it was grand. It was dead on. It was nothing special, really.
And we'd see it like on the telly and that, the All-Stars. Is it kind of like, you know, you go, you get the guys that get the All-Star and sit and have a few drinks and go home, or does everyone let their hair down and go?
No, there was a right few of them. Everyone lets their hair down a good bit, you know. It was a late enough night. I probably finished up early enough compared to some of the boys, you know. I remember going home, I'll not name any names, going home the following morning, and there was a right few lads coming staggering in, and lads that you wouldn't expect it of, you know. You pick up the paper and you pick up the newspaper, and they're doing interviews, and they're so regimental in what they're saying. You nearly think they're coming out of the army, and next you see them stumbling through the foyer of the Gibson Hotel about 8:15 in the morning, absolutely legless, not knowing where they were, you know. So that was a nice surprise, you know, to see that them boys were human as well.
Yeah, 100%. We just to move away from the All-Stars, and then a couple of years down the line again, there was 2016, you're knocked out by Mayo in the championship, the year after, knocked out by Armagh. 2018 then was kind of like, it kind of seemed like a year that should have followed on from 2015. You had a very good year 2015. 2018, you get promoted to Division 2, and then you had a good run in Ulster as well, getting to the Ulster final. And if I'm right in saying this, that you were going for your first Ulster Championship.
Yeah. 2015 was a good year. It was just a good year. We only won. We got promoted from Division 3, which was probably expected. We got a good run on the Ulster Championship. We got a good win against Armagh and Monaghan, and you know, we got tanked in the Ulster final, which was really disappointing. But the whole year in general, like Rory Gallagher came in 2015, and Ryan McManaman, Shane McCabe, and they took us, to be fair to them, to a completely new level with regards to conditioning and mentality and a system of play that probably wasn't too attractive for people to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But with the players that we had, with what Rory had seen, with the players that we had, and the system that we were playing, it was effective because it won games. We won games. We won games that generally that we wouldn't be winning. So in terms of that, it was a good year. Obviously, we didn't win it. We lost the Division 3 final, lost the Ulster final, and probably we got tanked by Kildare, but that was just a hangover. We weren't as bad as that. It was a hangover from the Ulster final. It was nearly impossible to get ourselves back up to that level that we were at before the Ulster final.
Okay.
So it was always going to be a tough day against Kildare, but it was generally a good year, you know. And, you know, in terms of conditioning of the players and the mentality and the togetherness, and it was probably one of the best years that I have had underneath.
Right.
Fermanagh colours since I've started playing.
And you had so you beat Armagh is a great way to get the ball rolling, and then Monaghan, to beat Monaghan as well. You're going into an Ulster final having beaten two very big teams. Was the whole thing of the Donegal game, did it just, you know, you went and got bit by Kildare, did the losing the Ulster final, did that just kind of not suck the life out of the team, but the momentum you had in that, do you feel?
Well, what you're saying, I would agree. You said suck the life out of the team. That's exactly what it done.
Right.
We beat Armagh. And there's no doubt Armagh have improved an awful lot over the few years. But we beat them by 5 points. We completely dominated the game. We never looked like losing. Against Monaghan, although we got a late goal, we dominated possession. We were the better team. We just didn't take enough chances. And we fully, it wasn't you can pick up the paper and you can see it's 1-8 to 10 points. It looks like a smash and grab. It wasn't that way. Maybe in the end it was. But we completely controlled that game. We played the game in our terms. And that's one thing that Rory Gallagher put into us when we were going out to play. We played the game in our terms. We set the tone early, and we know what we're about. And I think that's what got us through to the Ulster final, that we were so well structured. I mean, down to the last detail. Every man knew his job. And obviously the Ulster final, the beating we took, even to this day, I don't know what went wrong that day, because I remember the preparation for the Ulster final was unbelievably detailed.
Yeah.
And it just blew up basically for us. You know, I don't know whether it was the occasion got to us. There's that many ifs and buts. I can't put my finger on it, but it's a big regret for the players, because we know now, and it's easy saying that now. I'm not saying we would have beat Donegal, but we were definitely not 10 points worse off than that Donegal team.
Yeah. Well, so you had that year, that 2018, and so you're saying how the change that Rory Gallagher made to the team. What did he bring? I know you're saying the team structure and stuff like that. What did he bring that the team didn't have just before that?
Well, first of all, what he done was he got the best players that were available to play football in Fermanagh. He got them onto the pitch. That's the first thing he done. That players might have been in great physical condition, whatever, but he got them out. He got them involved. And then for 6 months we trained like absolute dogs, and that is no exaggeration. We trained 7 days a week, and people now will talk about their training 6 nights a week, but 2 of them could be recovery sessions. And they're calling training sessions, and it sounds good. We were training 7 days a week, no recovery sessions. It was train until you can train no more. And I mean, and that's no exaggeration, we were training, literally running the life out of us for 7 days. And that went on for a good 6 months, from early October right through the league, and right up until the Ulster Championship. And it probably was, over the years, Fermanagh have been perceived as probably a nice team to watch. A good, we've always punched above our weight in terms of playing teams. Like, we played Mayo in 2016, should have beat them. You know, we should have beat Mayo, but that's typical Fermanagh. That was typical Fermanagh. It was go and play Tyrone in the National League, you beat me 2 points, come home, listen to people saying, God, you've done well today, you've played well, and we got fucking beat. You know?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you play well or not. I think that's one thing he put into our heads, that there's no point. Moral victories don't get you anywhere. It's about winning.
Yeah.
And I think that hard training, the training he done, it gave us a set of balls to say, you know, that's the way to talk about it. When we went out and played the likes of Armagh, there would have been a fear factor, simply because, not that Armagh are a better team than us at the minute, just maybe of the tradition of the thing, of Armagh being traditionally stronger than Fermanagh, or Monaghan being stronger than Fermanagh, or you know what I mean. But we just grew a set, really. That's basically what we done, and we went out, and like, there's no point in saying it, we were horrible to play against. Like, if I was playing for the other team, I'd just pack my bags and go home. We were absolutely horrible to play against. And in saying that, a lot of people will say we were horrible to watch, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
And totally, I do agree with them. I wouldn't like to watch it, but if that was going to bring us an Ulster title,
it's effective. Like,
didn't give a shite what anyone thought.
Yeah.
Which is a pity that it didn't, because, to be fair to Rory probably gets a bit of bad press for being, which looks like negative football. And in saying that, we had some really good forwards. We had Sean Quigley, Tomas Corrigan, Rory Corrigan, myself, Aidan Breen, good scoring forwards, Eddie Courtney. But he just saw that as the system of play to go on. It was definitely effective, 100% effective, until the Ulster final, obviously. But which is a pity. It's a pity we didn't get a bit of silverware of it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's easy to slate a team when they're not winning. If we had won that, you know, you would have seen other teams going down to use that template, lower leagues teams that are going to be playing against tougher opposition. But as I say, it was horrible to watch, horrible to play against, but it was effective.
Yeah. And just to go on to when I said the current football season of what's been played so far, it was the start of this year that you left the county panel.
Yeah. But left at Christmas, just before Christmas. Just one of those things, really. I've been at it now from I was 17. I'm 27 now, so it's nearly 10 years in the county scene. But I just genuinely wasn't enjoying it, and the fact that I was there and not enjoying it probably wasn't fair on the other lads, because they were training away and I was probably going there, and half-arsed about it and probably not training as much as I should be and looking for excuses to get out of training and that's probably, to be fair, like, when I'm training, if I'm on it, I'll train the best. But when I found myself starting to think like that, I just said, I'm better off not here, because it only takes a player like that to drain the energy out of the whole squad. Because I've seen it happening over the years. So I decided to step away from it. And to be fair, it's not something that I definitely don't regret it. But when you're going to watch matches, in the National League, and you're sitting in the stand and Fermanagh's maybe struggling a wee bit, and you're thinking, Jesus God, I could have scored that, I could have made that pass, I could have made that bit of difference.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. It definitely is very frustrating, and you'd love to be there, but on a Tuesday evening when you're clocking out at work and you're getting to go home, instead of putting the kit bag into the car and driving to Irvinstown or driving down to Skillen, I definitely don't regret it then. But I think people get the perception once you step away from a county team that you have quit football, you have no interest in football.
Yeah.
That's not the case. No, it's been strange. It definitely has been strange, because for the last 10 years it's been the norm for me to be playing in National League games, to be going to training. And to be fair, with all the extra time, it's hard to know what to do at times. You'd be thinking, God, have I made the right choice here? But honestly, I do. At times when the matches are on and you see the games, you'd love to be playing, but it's not something that I regret doing. Definitely not. No, it's just the way it worked out. Wasn't happening for me, and I'm not saying that I'll never play county football again. If I don't, I don't. But it's not something that I have thought about. I just decided to take. At the time, I decided to take a couple of months out. Simple as that. And I think.
So we're just going to move on now, Sean, to the questions. And just I want to thank everyone for sending in questions. There was a lot of good feedback and a lot of people looking forward to this podcast. So first question, I'm not going to name out any names, bear for one question, but the first question is the toughest inter-county opponent you've had, toughest full-back or cornerback you've had. Where can you?
Jesus, that's a good one. Toughest full-back, cornerback. So I never forget my Ulster Championship debut was up in Celtic Park against Derry. I was only 17, and we were going into it, and we had absolutely no chance. And I mean no chance. Like we were just hoping to come out of there alive. And I remember going in, and it was Kevin McCloy I was marking. Used to be the Derry fullback, and he was probably coming to his latter stages of his career. And I remember shaking his hand, and I'm not even going to lie, the fear of God was in me. I was just absolutely bricking myself, because he was a big lump of a man. He nearly broke my 4 fingers in my hand, and I just could not wait to get home. He just intimidated me so much, but that was just pure fear that day. I think it wasn't that he was the best fullback or anything, Mark, but it's hard to answer that. I'd probably go with Charlie Vernon from Armagh. Was hard. It was a hard man to get away from. And another thing, what he done, I used to hate. He'd put you in the back foot. He'd go for a run. He'd go for a sprint up the field, and that was just.
It's a nightmare in the full forward.
Then run after a full back, because I don't know. I wouldn't be that dynamic at long distance running. And when Charlie Vernon decided, he knew exactly what he was at. He had no interest in getting the ball, but he'd just go, and you had to go with him, because you didn't want the ones in the crowd looking, that useless, lazy fucker in the full forward line, he'd do nothing, So probably Charlie Vernon. And to be fair to him, he was 100%. He was a good footballer, a good clean footballer, and I never look forward to marking Charlie Vernon. Yeah, so he's probably the toughest I've came across so far.
Yeah.
And Neil McGee, obviously, I'd say about Neil McGee that you don't have to explain what Neil McGee brings to the game. He's the ultimate shithouser, so everyone knows what he's like, but a good hard hitting footballer and leaves you with no inch, no. So
next question. Does county population have much to do with a county's success?
Yeah, in my opinion, maybe over the years, Fermanagh would have used that a bit like that as an excuse.
There's what? Is it 18 clubs in Fermanagh?
18 clubs, yeah. There's what 10 senior clubs, and 10 intermediate clubs, or no, eight senior clubs, 8 intermediate clubs, and 4 junior clubs.
Right.
2, yeah, that's right. No, I think it's just an excuse, and personally I would have used it over the years. But if you have 15 lads, 25, 30 lads, all going in the right direction, the same direction, and there's an end goal, and they know what the goal is, I don't think it is. Like, look at Monaghan. Monaghan, for an example, they're the smallest population county-wise in Ireland, and they're continuously putting it up and beating the big boys on all the day, or every day they go out, But no, I don't think it's an excuse that teams will likely use. Teams like Fermanagh that have used, myself personally have used over the years.
Next question: your career highlights so far?
Career highlights. I suppose on a club scene, winning that first championship in 2010 was massive for Roslea here. It really kicked us on to. We probably underachieved a bit. We won 4 championships, and looking back in 50 years' time, we'll be saying, "God, that was a great team," but it could have done so much more. But winning that championship was a highlight for me. Obviously, individually getting an Ulster nominee, a couple of Ulster All-Stars, and that run in 2015 was brilliant. We had a massive game against Roscommon up in Brewster Park where we come back from 7 down and won it by a point. The games like that they'll never be forgotten. So
yeah.
But personally, I think the one was the biggest highlight was probably the day we beat Monaghan in 2018.
Right.
The fact that I'm living right on the border here with Monaghan, so and to get to an Ulster final was brilliant. Personal highlight there, yeah.
And just as you were saying there, this is, I think about 10 or 12 people asked about this. You were saying how you were living on the Monaghan border there, and there's a story that's kind of attached to you with a late night feast.
Yeah, that's nearly as bad as the Cluxon goal. That thing that'll follow me forever too. But yeah, that's. I don't know whether to say it's fortunately or unfortunately. It's a true one. Yeah. It was a good night. I enjoyed myself. Yeah.
Yeah. For those who don't know what the story is, would you mind?
I don't think there's too many that doesn't know what this is. Google it.
Yeah, Google it. They'll find it. What was on the pizza? That's another question, actually. What was on the pizza?
I think there was a bit of everything on it. I'm not sure. It's that long ago. It wasn't that nice that I remembered what was on it. I knew more about it the next morning.
Yeah. And what about that? Just on that story, the conversation with the Laois fullback. Like, what was the conversation there? That part of the story.
It's that long ago, but I vaguely remember being there. It was in Port Leash. It was a sweltering hot day, and we didn't have much of a chance, but it ended up that we were very unlucky that day. But cut a long story short, a good friend of mine here in Roslea he walked in the local pub, and he was finished. Might have been 1:30, and he called down to the house here, and I said I'd go for the spin with him into Monaghan. He was going to get a feed. I'd go for the spin with him. So I was in there, decided, I'll get myself a pizza here. Sure, it'll do no harm because we're going to get hammered tomorrow anyway. That was the thinking. So got the pizza anyway. I ate most of it. Went on to Port Leash, and I remember going down on the bus, and I was thinking to myself, Jesus, I shouldn't have ate that. With boiling hot.
Yeah.
I got about 5 slices of pizza stuck in me. And we're playing a qualifier game, which was live in RTE as well the same day.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, I'm going to be showing up here. But anyway, went out anyway. I'm not sure what the Laois fullback was. His name was. Can't think what his name is anyway. But he was with several fella. We got chatting early on. I was chatting away at him, just jabbering on away, and he was telling me what I was saying, like, what would you eat? I just making up a stupid conversation. What would you eat before a match? Or he was telling me all the right answers. Fair play to him. A good, solid, living fullback. Doing everything by the book.
Yeah.
And I just told him out straight what I had, and he was. I can remember him laughing. He was like, he thought I was taking the piss. But I just told him anyway, and it was one of them games where I could do nothing wrong. Everything I touched turned to gold. Finished with 2-8, man of the match. And I think it was only a short time after that when I was talking in one of the newspapers about it, that I remember the Laois fullback himself, he realised that I was telling him the truth. He thought I was taking the piss. But no, that's another claim to fame. I'll not be remembered for my footballing prowess. It'll be dodgy stories that are around it.
You scored 2-8 in fairness.
2-8, and had a great game, and we were very unlucky not to win that game. But I was just thought, imagine if I hadn't have had the pizza, I mightn't have scored 2-8. If I hadn't have had it, I could have scored 4-10. You'd never know. But sure, we'll never know. We'll never know now.
Leave that to the imagination.
I just say it's that. I don't regret that either.
Fair enough. Let me see. Next question. A name you might know, Eamon O'Hara.
Eamon O'Hara, yeah.
Here's a bit of a question for you here. Eamon asked, what's the best excuse you ever used to get out of training?
Best excuse that I ever used to get out of training? To be fair, I wouldn't be a man for missing training. But I'd say there's that many of them going down through the years. Jesus, that's a tough one. Eamon might be able to tell me one of his. I was watching him in Locker Gale. You man, John O'Mahony, who did he fall out with? Can't remember now. The best excuse that I used for missing training. Excuse? Jeez, I don't know. There's bound to be one. I remember, funny enough, I wasn't involved in this one actually, but it was a couple of lads that were still on the county team at the minute. Were coming from Belfast, and they were driving out of Belfast anyway. But it was, if you know where we train, it's on the top of a hill. The best thing, they have a windmill up on it, and that's the only thing that works. They were coming, and it was a miserable night, and you're just thinking to yourself, fuck, this is just going to be complete torture. A couple of carloads of boys from Belfast coming out, and next thing they were on the motorway, pulled in on the motorway. One of them got out, took several pictures of the car with the bonnet open, took a wheel off the car, took the picture of it, and sent it to Pete McGrath, who was the manager at the time, telling them that they were in a handling here on the motorway in Belfast. Funny enough, there was two cars from Belfast going that night, and the boys that were coming behind them didn't back them up when they got back to training. Anyway, they were all screwed. I don't know who it was squealed on them, but there was 4 or 5 lads that took the effort to take a wheel off a car on the side of the motorway, take a picture of it, and send it to Pete McGrath. I'm not even sure if Pete McGrath knew how to work WhatsApp at that stage, so he might be only getting the picture now. So that's one of the excuses. I wasn't there that night, but I'm sure there was plenty of excuses in my time, but I just can't think of one at the minute.
That's fair enough. We're good. And they were just thrown straight under the bus, like.
Oh yeah. Well, to be fair to them, we were all getting the shite run of us with hailstones and snow, and they were heading back up the road, maybe heading to the Hatfield for a few pints. I'm not saying if I hadn't been in the car, I'd have been at the same. I definitely wouldn't do. And I say fair play to them.
Oh man. Let me see now. There's only one or two questions left. The next one is, and it's another story. It's the time you turned off the floodlights.
Floodlights. Oh yeah, an hour back.
Yeah.
That was a strange one too. I remember it was a National League game, I think. I don't know how these stories get attached to my name. I think it's just I have a good face for it. I don't know, but I remember it was half time and there was a bit of a scuffle and on the pitch. There was a bit of scuffle on the pitch, and I decided to head on in anyway because I had been in a bit of bother with the referee just shortly before that. So I said, right, keep my nose out of this because no doubt all the time, 100% I will be picked out and I'll get coming out at half time, get booked or something. So I remember going in, but shortly before that, I had hit, well, I'd give the Armagh midfielder a bit of a jab. It was a bit of a Judas one. That's what Kieran McGeady called it anyway. But I remember going off the sideline and Kieran McGeady's a big, strong man. And there's that many stories about him going around doing MMA and stuff. And I remember walking off and was walking off for myself because there was a bit of a scuffle in the middle of the field. And I could see him, I could eyed him up, and I'd seen him making a beeline for me. And I was like, fuck, this boy's going to give me a timber up and down this sideline here. So I was kind of breaking it then. So then, whatever happened, me and him got into a bit of a verbal argument, and that's all it was, thank God, because he'd have choked me. But anyway, the whole team's gathered in, and the whole lot gathered in, and there must have been 40 people in the tunnel, and out of nowhere, the lights went off. I don't know if I turned the lights off or not, but I'm going to deny it anyway. But the lights went off, and there was a couple of slaps thrown, and next the lights went back on, and by the time the lights came back on, I was safely in the change room, so I didn't give a damn.
Yeah, it just because I looked it up and it was saying how, I don't know, did it come on Wikipedia? I know Wikipedia isn't the most reliable thing to look at anyways, but it came up saying how it was actually you that turned off the lights, and the county board get a fine off it, or you got a match ban or something like that.
I got a match ban, and the county board got a £5,000 fine. Thankfully, I didn't have to pay it, but I don't know. I think it was more to fill a headline in the paper, and to be fair, it was a good one. It was a good headline. Because to this day, it does look like I turned the lights off, because I was the first man in. So come here. I actually don't know why. I definitely got a match ban. I'm not sure what I got the match ban for. It definitely wasn't turning off the lights. I think it might have been cited for something that happened during the match, but it's a good story anyway. Shall we go with
it? Yeah, we'll leave it as it is. So yeah, that's all the questions, and thanks million to everyone who sent in the questions. How are you finding this isolation now, Sean?
It's tough. It's tough enough, but luckily I've been still working there for the last couple of weeks, so it keeps you busy.
Yeah.
So I haven't really seen the bad side of it yet. Now I'm going to be off now for a week or two, so I'll see more then. It's definitely tough. It's strange. It's really, really strange. But fortunately, I have good contacts around the town, and you're always talking to people. The likes of this social media and video calls, and it's good to keep in touch with people because people isolating, it can't be good for the head at times, but
100%.
I as I say, I've been very lucky that I've been still working, and that has been keeping myself busy and the head occupied, but hopefully now it'll pass now in the next few weeks, because it's tough, when there's nothing on, there's no sport on, the sport's a killer, even if there was any, like on a Saturday there, just to sit up and watch match of the day, you'd give everything to be able to do that, but it'll
100%.
come with time, I suppose.
Yeah. I think that finishes off the podcast. Sean, thanks a million for joining me.
No bother, Ian. Good luck with it, and
Thanks,
look
William.
after yourself.
Will do, surely. So that's episode 3 done, and thanks everyone for watching. And next week I'll be back with another one. So that's us done.